Ladies and gentlemen, there is something profoundly freeing in realizing that not everything is about us, that the world is not always reflecting our worth, our wounds, or our fears. So many of us unknowingly carry the weight of self-importance, not out of arrogance, but from a place of deep inner insecurity. We internalize every comment, every silence, every glance, believing it is directed at us, shaped by us, or meant to define us. And in doing so, we create a prison of misinterpretation. When we make everything about ourselves, we narrow our vision. Instead of seeing the world through eyes of compassion and openness, we filter everything through the lens of ego. We might say, "They ignored me," instead of asking, "I wonder what they're going through." We might think, "They don't respect me," instead of considering, "Maybe they're overwhelmed and need kindness." The more we anchor life's experiences to our own self-story, the more disconnected we become from the beauty and complexity of others. This tendency to self-reference isn't because we're bad or broken. It's because we've been taught, in subtle ways, to tie our identity to validation. We think if someone sees us, values us, praises us, then we are safe, then we matter. But the truth is, our worth is not conditional. It isn't something to be earned through being seen, heard, or applauded. Our worth is innate. It was written into our being before we ever spoke a word. And when we remember that, we release the need to interpret life as a personal mirror. When we're overly focused on how things affect us, we miss the deeper invitation to connect. True connection only happens when we step outside of ourselves, when we drop the internal commentary long enough to truly see another. Imagine how much energy we spend wondering what others think of us, how we came across, whether we were good enough. Now imagine how life would feel if that energy was instead poured into genuine presence, into noticing, appreciating, witnessing others in their wholeness. Making it all about us creates invisible walls. We walk into rooms scanning for clues: who's judging, who's accepting, who's dismissing us. And those thoughts keep us from being present, from being of service, from being fully alive. When we drop self-importance, we enter a sacred space of ease. We begin to ask, how can I bring light here? Rather than, do they see my light? That simple shift changes everything. You don't have to disappear or shrink to stop making it about you. In fact, the opposite happens. When you remove yourself from the center of every narrative, your true self, the calm, wise, loving self, begins to shine. There is no need to defend, to impress, or to explain. There is only the desire to understand, to offer, and to connect. It's important to remember that every person we encounter is walking through their own private storm. Maybe they're anxious. Maybe they feel unseen too. Maybe they're waiting for someone, anyone, to see them without judgment. When we release the idea that we are being targeted, ignored, or measured in every interaction, we free ourselves. And in that freedom, we can be present, we can listen, we can love. Practice this today. Walk into a space, not wondering how people see you, but wondering how you can see them. Not asking how you're being perceived, but asking what kindness you can silently offer. Hold the energy of curiosity rather than performance. Let go of trying to be liked and embrace the quiet joy of simply being. When we choose to stop making it about ourselves, we aren't making ourselves less important. We are making space for something bigger than ego, connection, compassion, community. We begin to embody peace. We radiate calm, and that energy is felt even without words. Remember, you are already enough. You don't have to take everything personally. You don't have to analyze every reaction. You are safe. You are whole. And you are here to give love, not chase it. The moment you stop needing the world to affirm you, you become free to affirm others. And in that offering, you will find the deepest affirmation of all, inner peace. Let go. Breathe, and allow yourself to witness others without inserting yourself into the story. That is the beginning of real healing. That is how we meet our Maestro, the wise inner guide who teaches us that self-importance is not power. Presence is. There is something tender and liberating about letting go of the need to be right. For so long, many of us have been taught that being right means being safe, being respected, being valued. We've learned that correctness gives us authority, identity, and sometimes even love. But underneath this need to be right lies a deep fear that if we are wrong, we are somehow less. That if we surrender an argument, an idea, or a belief, we are losing ourselves. Yet that is not the truth. The truth is you are not your opinions. You are not your defenses. You are not your ability to win. You are a divine being made of love, light, and wisdom, and nothing can change that. You don't have to prove your value by overpowering someone else's perspective. You don't have to fight to be heard if your inner voice already affirms your worth. Releasing the need to be right is not weakness. It is a sacred act of strength, trust, and maturity. When we insist on being right, we are often not listening. We are waiting to speak, to correct, to fix. Our focus shifts away from connection and toward control. But love doesn't thrive in control. It thrives in curiosity, in openness, in humility. When we let go of the obsession with correctness, we allow ourselves to be students of life again. We stop posturing and start learning. We stop defending and start understanding. There is great beauty in not knowing everything, in admitting, I hadn't thought of it that way, or you may be right. These words do not make us small, they make us expansive. They show others that our hearts are soft, our minds are open, and our egos are not in charge. When we live like this, we invite peace into our conversations. We disarm tension. We let love speak louder than pride. Think about a time when you insisted on being right. Maybe it created a distance between you and someone you care about. Maybe it caused stress, resentment, or regret. In those moments, what was more important, being correct or being connected, being heard or being whole? When we ask ourselves these questions with honesty, we begin to awaken. We begin to seek that rightness. Without kindness is hollow. That winning the debate often means losing the relationship. This isn't about silencing your voice. It's about softening your voice. It's about realizing that true power does not need to overpower. When your truth is grounded in love, it will speak for itself. It does not need to shout. It does not need to argue. It simply is. You can share your perspective without attachment. You can offer your insight without expectation. And then you can let go. Letting go is not giving up. It is giving space for healing, for harmony, for something greater than ego. Sometimes the best thing you can say is nothing. Sometimes the best answer is a breath. Sometimes the best wisdom is silence, holding space for the other to be seen and heard just as you wish to be. You are not in this life to conquer others. You are here to know yourself, to love others, to create peace. When we detach from the need to be right, we discover how often we were carrying unnecessary burdens. The need to defend, the need to correct, the need to win. These are all heavy energies that block joy, block presence, block flow. But when you set them down even for a moment, you feel lighter, freer, closer to your true self. Today, invite yourself to listen without formulating a response, to speak without trying to persuade, to observe your thoughts without needing to prove them. Let your heart lead. Let grace guide your words. Let compassion be your currency. You do not have to be the loudest. You do not have to be the most correct. You only have to be real. The deepest truths do not need defense. And your inner truth, that you are lovable, that you are enough, that you are growing, is the only truth that matters. So next time you find yourself needing to be right, ask gently, what would love do here? And trust that the answer will always lead you toward peace. So often, we look at people and forget that beneath their smiles, beneath their words, beneath the way they carry themselves, there are untold stories of hurt, of healing, of heartbreak. Everyone you meet is fighting an invisible battle. They are carrying burdens they don't speak about. They are managing wounds that never fully show on the surface. And this truth, when fully embraced, becomes the doorway to deep compassion. We live in a world that rewards appearances. Strength is praised, resilience is admired, and vulnerability is often hidden behind business or bravado. But just because someone seems fine doesn't mean they are not aching inside. And just because someone is distant or cold doesn't mean they are cruel. It might mean they are protecting themselves from a pain you cannot see. When we begin to understand this, we stop taking everything so personally. We stop reacting, and instead, we begin responding with grace. Every soul you encounter is carrying something heavy. Maybe it's a silent grief. Maybe it's a fear they've never voiced aloud. Maybe it's a memory from childhood that still stings. It could be a financial hardship, a health issue, or a broken relationship. Or maybe they just woke up today feeling like they aren't enough. These battles don't always announce themselves. They don't wear signs, but they live in the background of every moment, shaping how people think, feel, and behave. When we recognize this, we begin to soften. We stop judging so quickly. We become less reactive, less defensive, less eager to label others. We start to replace judgment with curiosity. Instead of saying, "Why did they do that to me?" we say, "I wonder what they're going through." That one shift changes the entire energy we bring into a conversation, into a room, into the world. It's easy to look at someone and make assumptions. They didn't call back. They must not care. They spoke harshly. They must be rude. They're avoiding eye contact. They must be hiding something. But what if, instead of assuming, we paused and allowed ourselves to feel into their humanness? What if we held the possibility that their behavior had nothing to do with us and everything to do with something they are carrying silently? When you start to live with this awareness, you become more kind. You offer patience where you once offered irritation. You offer understanding where you once offered criticism. You begin to see that every interaction is an opportunity, not to fix others, but to hold space for them. And in doing so, you also create space for your own healing. It is not your job to solve other people's problems, but it is your power to not add to them. With your presence, your gentleness, your patience, you can become a soft place in a hard world. You can be the one who doesn't escalate the pain, but soothes it even in silence. Your energy matters. Your energy can be the balm that someone didn't know they needed. And this works both ways. Just as others are carrying unseen battles, so are you. You too are navigating invisible terrain, and you deserve the same compassion you are asked to give. Be gentle with yourself. Speak kindly to yourself. Allow yourself to be human. It's okay if you're still healing. It's okay if you're still figuring it out. Everyone is. Today, walk through the world knowing this truth. No one has it all together. No one is without struggle. No one is immune to pain. We are all on the path together, stumbling and rising, breaking and healing. And when we remember that, we become more connected, not through perfection, but through our shared imperfection. So the next time someone disappoints you or hurts you or simply behaves in a way that feels off, pause, breathe, and whisper to yourself, "They are fighting a battle I cannot see." Let that be the beginning of your response. Let that be the space where compassion enters. And when it's you who's hurting, remind yourself, "I am allowed to struggle. I am still growing. I am still worthy." Let that be your inner voice. Let that be the place where healing begins. The world doesn't need more sharp edges. It needs more softness. It needs more hearts willing to see beyond the surface. So let your heart be one of them. Let your life become a quiet prayer of understanding. Let your presence remind people that they are not alone in their invisible battles. There is a sacred power in simply being present. In a world that constantly pulls us toward distraction, judgment, and noise, presence is a revolutionary act. It requires no shouting, no performing, no striving. Presence is quiet, still, and deeply alive. When you are truly present, you give the greatest gift there is: your full attention, your full self, your unconditional energy. Many people believe they must fix others, offer advice, or carry solutions to be of value. But the truth is, the most healing thing you can offer anyone is your presence. To look someone in the eyes without distraction, to hear them without planning your next sentence, to be with them without judgment, that is real love, that is powerful, and that is rare. So often, our minds are racing. We are replaying yesterday or rehearsing tomorrow. We are caught in internal conversations, opinions, or expectations, but in doing so, we leave the present moment behind, we leave ourselves behind, and when we are not fully present, we miss life itself. We miss the tiny miracles in someone's voice, in a bird's song, in our own breath. Presence is not passive, it is deeply active in a subtle, sacred way. It says, "I am here, I see you, I see myself, I am not running from this moment." And when we stop running, we meet the truth, not the mental version of the truth, but the living, breathing truth that only reveals itself in the now. You don't need to change the world in this moment. You only need to arrive in it. When you are present, everything becomes clearer. You begin to see what is truly needed, not what fear demands, not what ego wants, but what love invites. That's where wisdom lives. That's where peace lives. Not in the future, not in the past, but in this breath, this step, this heartbeat. When you are with someone, try to really be with them. Put the phone down, put the judgment down, put the urge to fix or impress down. Let your presence say, "You matter, I'm here." That is more healing than any advice. That is what people are really longing for. Not more information, but more connection. And this same gift of presence must also be offered to yourself. Can you sit with your own thoughts without running from them? Can you listen to your own emotions without numbing them? Can you rest in your own body without needing to improve or escape it? This is the true spiritual work. To show up for yourself with love moment after moment. As you are, you might find that the mind resists presence. It will pull you into stories. You should be doing more. This isn't enough. What if something goes wrong? That is okay. That is the mind doing what it was trained to do. But you can gently return to now. You can place your hand over your heart and say, "I am here. I am safe. I choose peace." Every time you do that, you build a bridge back to your power. Presence is not about perfection. It's not about getting it right. It's about returning. Returning to your breath, returning to your body, returning to the sacredness of this moment. That return is where miracles begin. That return is where healing happens. In presence, we begin to understand that we are not separate, that we are all threads in one tapestry, that behind every role, every mask, every fear, is a heart that wants to be seen, heard, and loved. When you are present with someone, you are saying, without words, "You are enough right now. You are safe here. You are not alone, and you, dear soul, are never alone either." The more present you become, the more supported you will feel, not because life suddenly changes, but because you change. You begin to witness the grace that was always there, waiting patiently beneath the noise. Today, give yourself permission to slow down, to notice, to breathe, to arrive. Let this be the moment you choose to come home to yourself. You don't have to do more to be worthy. You don't have to fix anything to be lovable. You only need to be here, fully, softly, and with open hands. Your presence is powerful. Your presence is healing. Your presence is enough. Let it guide you. Let it hold you. Let it awaken everything beautiful within you. There is deep, quiet healing in the act of truly listening. Not the kind of listening we often do while multitasking, nodding, or waiting for our turn to speak. I mean the sacred kind of listening. The kind that says, "I am here with you. I am not thinking about how to fix you, change you, or respond. I am simply here to understand." This kind of listening is rare, and yet it is one of the most powerful forms of love we can give. Many people are longing to be heard, deeply, honestly, lovingly. They are carrying stories that have never been spoken, fears that have never been shared, and hopes that feel too fragile to name aloud. When someone finally listens, not with an agenda, but with a soft heart, they begin to feel seen. They begin to breathe a little easier, and something inside them relaxes. We are taught so much about how to speak, how to present ourselves, how to assert our opinions, but rarely are we taught how to listen. And yet, listening is the foundation of all meaningful connection. When we listen without judgment, we create space for healing. When we listen with presence, we create a bridge between hearts. Listening is a form of holding space, holding energy, holding love. You may not have the answers for someone's pain. You may not know how to take away their burden. But if you can be a presence that receives their words with patience and care, you are offering more than most will ever give. You are saying, "I honor your truth. I trust your process. I will not rush you." And you don't have to agree to listen. You don't have to fully understand. You only have to care. The moment someone feels safe enough to speak their truth, even if their voice shakes, is the moment they start to reclaim their power. And your listening becomes the container in which that healing begins. So many of us want to be heard, but have we asked ourselves, how well do we listen? Do we pause before jumping in with our story? Do we stay curious when someone else is expressing something uncomfortable? Do we listen to understand, or do we listen to reply? To listen is to slow down. To listen is to give up control. It is an act of surrender. It says, "I'm not here to dominate or prove. I'm here to witness." And when someone feels witnessed without being analyzed or evaluated, they naturally begin to rise into clarity. Their answers often come not from what we say, but from the silence we are willing to hold with them. Listening is also something we must offer to ourselves. So often we silence our own inner voice, we push away our feelings, we override our instincts. But healing requires that we turn inward and ask, what am I feeling? What do I need? What is my body or my heart trying to say? And then we must listen gently without interruption. That inner voice may be quiet at first. It may whisper softly after years of being ignored. But if you stay present, if you stay open, it will speak. And it will guide you toward what is real and right for you. This is how you rebuild trust within yourself. Not by knowing all the answers, but by becoming someone who listens. Whether you are listening to another person or to your own soul, remember listening is not about control. It is about compassion. It is about becoming a safe place. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more stillness. More people who are willing to say, tell me more, and mean it. You don't have to fix everything. You don't have to have perfect words. All you have to do is be present, stay open, and let your listening become a quiet form of love. Because when you really listen, people feel it. They feel respected. They feel honored. And most of all, they feel that they matter. Let today be a gentle invitation to slow down and listen to your loved ones, to strangers, to your body, to your heart. Let silence be your teacher. Let stillness be your strength. Let presence be your gift. You don't need a special title to be a healer. If you can listen, really listen, you are already healing the world in your own beautiful way. There is a beautiful shift that happens when we realize we are not the source, we are the vessel. We are not meant to carry the whole world on our shoulders. We are not here to be the center of every moment, every interaction, or every emotion. We are conduits for love, for light, for grace. And the more we allow that truth to settle in, the more peaceful, purposeful, and powerful we become. From a young age, many of us are conditioned to strive. We are taught that we must achieve, prove, impress, or compete. We begin to believe that we are responsible for making everything happen, for fixing people, for controlling outcomes, for being everything to everyone. But this belief is a heavy one. It pulls us into anxiety, perfectionism, and self-doubt. Because deep down, something within us knows we were never meant to be the source of it all. Think of yourself as a river, not a reservoir. Life flows through you. Wisdom flows through you. Love flows through you. But it does not start or stop with you. You are a sacred channel. And when you stop trying to own the light and instead share the light, everything begins to flow with more ease. You don't have to generate worthiness. It's already there. You don't have to create love. It already exists in the field of life. All you are asked to do is stay open, stay grounded, stay clear enough for those divine energies to move through you. When you do that, you become a healing presence. Not because you are doing everything, but because you are allowing everything to unfold through you. Many of us suffer because we believe we must be the center of every narrative. We internalize other people's actions. We absorb their emotions. We believe their responses are a reflection of us. But this way of living keeps us bound to ego. It keeps us in a loop of overthinking, overgiving, and often overreacting. Freedom comes when we release the need to be the center and step into our true role, a divine participant in a much larger story. You are not alone, and it is not all up to you. When you stop needing to be the main character, you become the clear space through which grace moves. That is not disempowering. It is deeply empowering, because it means you can let go of what you cannot control and focus on what you can, your openness, your energy, your alignment. Being a conduit means trusting that life knows what it's doing. It means showing up with love, but not attachment. It means being present without needing to perform. It means being of service without needing to be recognized. It is not about shrinking. It is about surrendering. You can still shine. You can still lead. But your leadership flows from a humble place, a knowing that you are simply a channel for the divine to express itself. Whether through your words, your touch, your actions, or your silence, something beautiful flows through you when you stop trying to force it and simply allow it. And this same truth applies when you face challenges. You don't have to carry pain alone. You don't have to solve everything with your mind. When you open yourself and say, I am willing to be guided, You step into the flow of life. You make space for solutions, for peace, for transformation, because you are no longer relying on willpower alone. You are allowing something greater to move through you. Imagine the relief of not having to always know the answer. Imagine the peace that comes when you trust that your role is to listen, not control. That your gift is to reflect, not absorb. That your purpose is to serve, not save. This is the wisdom of the heart. You are not the source of the river, but you can be the riverbed. You can support the flow. You can be steady. You can be soft. You can be a safe place for love to move freely. Today, let go of the pressure to be everything. Let go of the need to be at the center of every situation. Instead, ask, how can I be a clear channel for something greater? And then breathe, and then listen, and then allow. You are not the light itself, but you are a window for the light. You are not the healer, but you are the hands through which healing reaches others. You are not the source, but you are so beautifully part of the source's plan.